Good morning. Good morning. As you've already heard, I am Nerima from Kenya. In 2016, we had a judge, Justice Said Chitembwe. He wrote a judgment that was declared the worst judgment for women's rights in that year by Women's Link Worldwide. And the reason his judgment was found to be problematic for women's rights is that it found that a man who had been found guilty of defiling or having sex with an underage girl, specifically a 13-year-old, was acquitted of that crime because he was not liable. And while a lot of people blamed Justice Chitembwe for this judgment, the defense that was availed was in the law. So in 2006, Kenya passed the Sexual Offences Act, and within the time that this act was passed, there was a lot of sexual violence. We have statistics as high as a rape every 30 minutes at the time that the law was passed. However, despite this, the Parliament found it necessary to create a defense in this act for anyone that is a perpetrator, so that if you are found guilty of defilement, you can say, but I didn't know that was a child. Why it was problematic is, one, this defense already exists. It exists in our common law, it exists in our criminal law. There is a defense called mistake. And the second thing is that this defense was framed as impugning the character of the child, to say that a child must deceive one into believing they're an adult. And Justice Chitembwe said this child in this case deceived this man into believing she's an adult. He even said, how does a 13-year-old leave her father's house to go and sleep with men? That's not a child. My organization is considering challenging this section on the basis of how it affects the rights of women to be treated as equal in law. And I say women not because men and boys cannot be victims of sexual violence, but because women are more likely to be victims of sexual violence. So we're looking at challenging the constitutionality of this law and say that this indirectly affects the rights of women by saying they are not equal in this question, by saying when we have a perpetrator of rape or defilement, we need to ensure that we protect them, because women generally lie about violence. Women lie, girls lie. So we have to ensure that even when these lying women are in front of us, we can have a safeguard for the men who are brought to court by these lying women. I was placed in the theme of empowerment, and I would like to note, the hardest thing about this discussion is not that people need to learn. We have learned a lot. We have learned a lot in 6 weeks. We have learned a lot in our lives. But it's what we need to unlearn. We need to unlearn how we see our women, how we see our girls. We need to unlearn the issues we have in our society and what makes us view women and girls as inferior, as liars, as false accusers. That we must unlearn. And we hope that we can go to the court and ask them, please unlearn what you know in order to ensure the equality and safety of women and girls in Kenya. Thank you.